Flames. We are channeling some beautiful energy this morning for the week ahead. The themes of this week are going to center around stability, stagnation, and adaptability. So as I was pulling just to get, a feel for the energy, I was getting the clock strikes midnight, like Cinderella vibes. So we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed, High Priestess, and the Four of Pentacles. So what I'm getting with that to start is that one, it's pretty cool that this aligns with the daylight savings. Is it ending or starting? I can't remember how it's flipped. But it's funny that the Wheel of Fortune reverse is coming out here. First card, internal shifts, internal changes, very much like internal workings. The clock is going backwards internally, almost like you know how with Cinderella, this will make sense in a second, but bear with me. You know how Cinderella is, I don't know, she seems like dusty or whatever. She's treated badly. She's treated like the maid, like she's treated like a dusty little maid, right? But there's this beauty inside of her that if only she was able to like step out into the light, where like that she would be able to see that beauty and that grace that she holds, and she thinks that she's unlovable because of those in her immediate circle. Whereas when she goes to the ball, the prince falls in love with her, and the prince doesn't fall in love with her because she is all dolled up. The prince falls in love with her because of who she is on the inside, right? Like who it is, like who she is at her core, right? When everything's stripped away. And it's right. Okay, so track with me. I'm trying to get it together. It's a lot to weave together here. I just need to take a beat. I don't know why I'm nervous. Are y'all nervous? Are you all very like nervous with the energy of this week, with the month of November period? This month is filled with a lot of retrograde energy, and some retrogrades are even ending. Saturn goes direct like at the end of the month, right? So it's a lot of stuff that's being wrapped up, a lot of things that are being reworked, a lot of shifts and like growth being put into practice for you to understand. Also, I'm pretty sure astrologically there is still a grand trine going on between, don't get me to lying, but I think it's because I don't think Mars moves into Sagittarius until the 4th. So I think it's between Mars, Saturn in Pisces, and Jupiter in Cancer. And there might be some other planets mixed in there. Obviously the sun, because the sun is in Scorpio as well. Right, so there's this grand water trine that's going on. Very watery, very emotional, very heavy, right? From the mystical shaman deck, we have water and lower world. So tying the two together, there is this, as you like go through this week, you're going to be going there's just heavy undercurrents of the subconscious realm. A lot of things coming up from the subconscious, especially because it is Scorpio season. Scorpio is very much known for deep transformation and rebirth. And as I was channeling this message, I was actually getting a lot of energy from Queen Persephone, who is the queen of the underworld, but she's also the goddess of spring, right? She's known for being very much a pillar of the life, death, and rebirth cycle, which is very intrinsic to like the natural cycles of the world, right? Like the cyclical nature of the world, which is again funny because the Wheel of Fortune reverse came out. So it's like a reset of your natural cycles and the natural cycles around you. And it involves a lot of subconscious work. It involves a lot of internal work. There's a lot of change that will be taking place that you will not see, right? Like subconscious, unconscious realm. But there's a lot that's coming to the surface, that you're being asked to unearth and sort of sit with. So the other theme of this is duality here with the High Priestess. The High Priestess walks between the worlds, right? She is of the world, but she's not in the world. Do you get what I'm saying? Like she's kind of removed. She's on the edge of the world because she sits in between the realms, right? Particularly the subconscious realm, but as an archetype, it can just be higher realms and the lower realms. So there's this need for, as these things are coming up, to remain grounded here, especially with the Four of Pentacles here, like remain grounded in who it is that you know yourself to be, who it is that you are at your core, but also to not hold on too tightly. That's very much the theme of this entire like week, right? Stability, adaptability, stagnation, and duality. Weaving it all together here. We know water is known for, if I could pick up the card, guys, jeez. We know water is known for birth, rebirth, purification, cleansing, healing, emotions, intuition, all of that, right? Which also the subconscious world is indicative of a lot of those things, like deeply desired, like deeply held desires, illusions, you know, those sorts of things, right? Like hidden motives, emotions, and all of that. So as we are going through this week, there is the need to see where it is that you need to be making shifts and where it is that you're being shifted and what you do and do not have control over, right? The first two cards that came out were major arcana, which means these are archetypal themes that are going on, like overarching themes happening in your life that you do not have control over. These are things being divinely guided, being divinely pushed for a reason for you. One second. I'm having peppermint tea. And I made an apple cider simple syrup to go with it. Really like apple cider syrup because I just reduced the apple cider. Anyway, really good in the peppermint tea. I recommend heavily. And from the Starseed Oracle deck, Rebecca Campbell, I believe, we have out Earth School. What's this? Starkeeper, and You Got the Love. As things shift here, it is understanding that here on Earth, like the natural world is our greatest teacher, and with that you are going to have ups and downs, and you're going to have tests, right? Like, and that's the entire point. And sometimes the point is for you to fail, for you to learn from your mistakes or whatever. Literally the card says Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. It's to help you reach a higher level of consciousness and to help you study yourself and just the way that humans are supposed to interact with the world. That is the entirety of our human experience. It is the study of our lives, what we're here for, what we're meant to do. Starkeeper here says cosmic ancestors seek the light by staying grounded. Wherever you're being guided, you don't need to know that, but you do need to know that, like, that you have ancestors behind you that are guiding you along the way, right? Like Earth is your teacher, but you also have these cosmic ancestors that are also guiding this. And part of guiding that is putting you here on Earth for your soul's evolution, for your soul's growth. And that is why the human experience is like a study, like a scientific study in essence. And then like you got the Love, which says, I can't even pronounce this word, Hadarian, energy, codependency, boundaries. So that's why I said, like, there's just going to be this push and pull, this tug, right? Water as a whole and telement and tarot. I was combining tarot and element. Water as a whole, as an element, like in tarot, represents connections with other people, right? It's usually in relation to other people, and then also like within self, right? Like intuition, self, and like again unconscious world, right? So what you're being asked to do is see. There's a lot that's going to come up this week, right? With this reset, right? You're being asked to see where it is that you need to have firmer boundaries, as in where it is that you need to pour more love into yourself, right? Where in your subconscious, in the lower world, I'm gonna stop trying to pick up the cards, it's just failing me. Where in the lower world are you being asked to give yourself more love, to pour more love into yourself, to create more of stability and structure in your life, to help you to feel comfortable unearthing the inner parts of yourself, who you are deep at your core, right? That inner being, that the anima, right? Your psyche, unveiling your psyche, right? Even the parts that you have hidden to yourself. Using this time to be cleansed, to be purified with that. The other side of it is where you, hold on, before we even get to that, in relationships with other people, where you need better boundaries, where are you using and which relationships and how are you using them to put a band-aid over situations? Where are you using relationships to fill the void of inadequacy that you may feel in one way or another pertaining to who it is that you are, right? What is it about them that they embody that you are like seeking out because you want to embody yourself, right? Which that can be a good thing. Again, Earth School, we're here to learn, we're here to study, we're here to grow. So that can be a very, very good thing. But it can lead to comparison. It can lead to you being stuck, you being stagnant, because you're holding on too tightly to an ideal of something that is not even you. And that's why also you need to understand with water and lower world, what is driving this, right? That's why we're really analyzing the subconscious mind, your unconscious actions. What is driving this? Your subconscious controls like 95% of your actions. The conscious mind, your working brain, only controls 5%. You're only led by 5% of your conscious mind. Everything else is like subconsciously driven. So if you're wondering why your life has turned out the way that it's turned out, or you're wondering what lessons that you are being asked to learn here, you need to sit with yourself and sort of look and see where these motives are, and really ask yourself and give it time. That's also the other thing, but like, ask yourself, what are you hiding from yourself? And you need to, that's why you need to give it time, because you're hiding these things from yourself. There are parts of you that you are scared to embrace, and that's what lower world also talks about. It might be lower world, it might be water, I can't specifically remember, but specifically because with the mystical shaman oracle deck, there's the essence, there's the, oh, y'all don't even know why I even tried to do that. I don't know, I think it's essence, medicine, and something else, but that, whatever. It's understanding that within our subconscious, within our psyches lives, it's so funny that all this came out, like, right, like ancestral energy with all three of these cards from all three decks, right? So within our psyches lives those who came before us in our past lives, the gifts and the lessons that they had to learn, that they were afforded, right? And we're being asked to go and take stock of that, take a review of that, and see what it is that we need to like, or what can we gain from that? What lessons have they already learned that we don't have to go through again? What cycles are we repeating that maybe need more attention? Maybe it's this cycle, this life cycle, that you're being called to actually overcome this, go through, like deal with this sort of thing. And it's also about going within your psyche. You got love and the lower world. I'm not even gonna attempt to pull them up again. Going into your psyche and loving all the parts of yourself, all parts of yourself, the abandoned aspects of your psyche, the disowned parts of self, that all the parts that you've dismembered, that just collected in your underground. See the beauty in them and bring them up into the conscious world. That's why this is heavy with Persephone energy. Persephone had to learn to navigate the underworld, how to reclaim her sovereignty and gain a sense of like personal power, and then also interact in the upper world and bring things to life. Goddess of spring, right? Like everything blooms and comes to life in spring. So God, like reigning over death, but also goddess of light, goddess of birth. Not birth and fertility, but like fertility is kind of an aspect of it, but more of like internal, right? So that is a huge focus for this week for you, and really assessing its relationships and whole, relation with self, relation with others, where it is that you need stronger boundaries, healthier boundaries to help yourself progress, to give yourself what it is that you need, what it is that you desire to help your soul's evolution, and where it is with other people that you need more boundaries, where it is that you are letting yourself stay cramped, stay like, where is it that you are letting the world restrict you, constrain you, put limitations on you, box you in, cage you in, right? Like your psyche, like the depths of who you are. Where is that being constrained through like external forces? And where do you need to see that you are actually boundless, right? Water is boundless. Water has no boundaries. Water doesn't really respect boundaries. But when there are things that are formed around, confirmation, ice maker, when things are formed around it, water flows like around it, water passes around it, right? And so it's like, well, I just pause it there for a second. It's symbolic of universal flow and structure, that water itself is boundless, and water is very much symbolic of life itself, creation itself, right? The one thing that we all need, especially as humans, is water. Water is life. But when you put something boundless and you add form to it, not necessarily to it, but like around it in its space, now it has to go around, it has to, or push through if possible, right? So we're introducing the constraints of earth, constraints of the universe, right? Bound by time and other laws of natural order, to work in harmony and to work in duality. And so it's bringing those two together, understanding that you are boundless, but also still understanding that you operate within the confines of universal order. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense there. If not, please let me know in the comments. But that is the biggest focus of this week for you. And hold on, because I did take notes on this, because this was just a very like expansive message, and so I just want to make sure that I'm getting everything. So we got Going back to the beginning of adaptability, stability, stagnancy. Where do you need to adapt? What needs to stabilize? Or where are you mistaking stability for stagnation? It's like, where are you stagnant, but also what are you holding on so tightly to that subconsciously you want to release because it's giving you this false sense of stability. But also the Wheel of Fortune reversed here, you can try to hide from this. Again, we're in Scorpio season. Like, Scorpio, you can't hide the truth with Scorpio. We're in Scorpio season. The wheel is at play here. These things are going to come out. Your world, when you are not obeying the universe, when you are not growing in the way that you need to, and there's a divine calling over something, you will be pushed. Situations will be pushed, right? They're out of your hands, right? And often it's very inconvenient, it's very uncomfortable, and it's a hell of a lot worse than if you had made the steps yourself, like made the change yourself. So this is happening regardless, because you are mistaking in some areas of your life, in some way or another, you are mistaking whatever it is as stability within self, and it is keeping you stagnant because you are refusing to adapt. There's the interplay of all three of those like going on here with this week. And it is also the duality, right? Like, High Priestess operates in reality, that mean in duality, the two pillars, right, between reality, the material world, and the spiritual world. And it is the transition of your new self, your higher self, coming into like a deeper relationship with your higher self, but also bringing your higher self conscious to earth to exist here. It is that transition of past self, lower self ways, and new self. So you're between worlds right now, and it's okay to just sort of operate between worlds, adapt as things come along, you know, just sort of bend with it and let go what needs to let go. There's a lot of stuck and stagnant energy right now that is being pushed out collectively. It's just what we're dealing with right now, and you just need to learn to go with the flow, ride the wave, like the ebb and flow of life. A big part of the wheel is that it turns either way, right? The wheel is not positive nor is it negative. It's neutral. It's karma. It's just the way that things are shifting at any given moment according to the universe. The universe does not play favorites. The universe just works off of universal law and order and balance and harmony and duality. And the universe maintains that balance. When things are out of balance, it shifts things. It gives you warnings, and then it shifts things, because one thing about the universe, it is always going to be at homeostasis. It's always going to be in harmony. And if not, it's going to, you know, be a force to be reckoned with, to mitigate or there's a word that is not coming to mind, but I guess it's just not important. And so there are peaks and there are lows, peaks and valleys in life, right? You just need to ride the wave of the ebb and flow, and go with it, and just know that this is all natural and this is all cyclical. And just as there's a time for life, there's a time for death, and just as there's a time for death, there's a time for rebirth, and so on and so forth, because the wheel just keeps spinning, because that's just the way that life is. And with that, there can be things that are coming up here that you may think, oh, why is this still coming up? I feel like I've dealt with this or whatnot. Healing and awareness, consciousness is not just a stair, right? Like just a ladder straight up. It is cylindrical, is that the word? And like it spirals, right? Because as you're going up, you're spiraling back around to certain things, but you have a higher level of consciousness and understanding, and then higher, like, right? So you're being asked to look at things like from a deeper perspective because of the level of consciousness and experience and wisdom that you have at any given point, and it helps you to have a deeper understanding of wounds, of the psyche, and just, you know, just life in general and all of that. So that is the big focus of this week. Evolutionary shifts that feel personal, but they're not. Some might seem small, but they're like seismic. It's the subtle world, the subtle shifts as you transition, as we as a collective start to transition. We are at the tail end of 2025 here, and 2026 is jam-packed because we're gearing up for 2027 and just what is to come as it pertains to human consciousness, the collective, and just where our frequency is and how we are being pushed to grow, because it's time, because we've held it off for long enough. And that starts at the individual level. But just always remember that whatever it is that's happening at the individual level is being reflected, like it's happening at the conscious level, I mean the collective level as well, right? Like mirrors, because you understand that you are an individual, a part of a whole. You are both a separate individual with your own unique energetic frequency and blueprint, and you are also a cosmic energetic being, a part of the collective consciousness of Earth, of those who came before you and those who will be after you. I can't remember I was going with that before that. That's it. That's it there. I was going to channel a message from Persephone specifically, but I might make that a separate video because this is already, I have my contacts in. This is already like nearly 30 minutes long. So catch me in the next one if you are interested in a message from Persephone. I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Don't be afraid of this week. Roll with it and know that everything that's happening is happening for a reason. There's a lesson and a blessing in everything. And to be honest, polarity is also coming to mind. I'm sorry. One more thing, guys, with this. The universe is telling me one more thing. Duality and polarity, right? Polarity is things that seem opposing, but they're just different ends of the same spectrum. So a lesson can seem like that, a lesson, but it's a blessing. It's teaching you something. It's an opportunity for growth. And what really matters is how you choose to look at it. That's what's going to help you deal with it better. Like, just honestly, it's not easy, but that is just, again, the ebb and flow of, excuse me, confirmation burp. Seriously, sorry. That's just the ebb and flow of life. But yeah, so I love you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Have a beautiful Sunday. Yeah, bye.